Hey, YouTube, Alexander here. You want to get started in sim racing? What do you need? I'm going to show you. Just stay tuned. So, the first thing you're going to need if you want to start sim racing is something to play content on. Now, a lot of people will generally go down the console route straight away, get an Xbox, PlayStation, Wii, you name it. Probably not the best idea, and here's why. You get yourself a PC. Not only can you evolve that PC with the content that you want to play, but you also have access to so much of the modded content. This is community created things such as cars, tracks, rips from other content to go into other games. So if you want to really maximize your start in sim racing, get yourself a decent PC. Doesn't need to be magic, doesn't need to be thousands of pounds, a few £100 will do. And then you can get your content, go racing, have a blast. And believe me, you can do it on a keyboard. So, you've got your PC, you've got your content, you've had a go on keyboard or controller, you're thinking it's time for an upgrade, something you can feel. That might be time for a wheel. But what do you need? What do you go and buy? Now, a lot of people will go out there and tell you to go spend a lot of money on Fanatec or spend thousands on a direct drive wheel. You don't need to. You're just starting out, you're finding your feet, finding out what suits you best. And for that, I'd recommend something much lower in the price scale. I use a Thrustmaster because it has interchangeable wheels, got decent force feedback, and it doesn't break the bank. Now, this is essential because it allows you, as the driver, to find what championships you prefer, what cars you prefer, what style of racing you like. Do you like rally? Do you like drift? Do you like GT racing, Formula racing? All of these play a part on choosing what wheel is going to suit you best. And I'm not talking about the base, the actual part that you hold and interact with. Now, if you go and buy Fanatec, or you go buy a direct drive wheel, you're going to have to spend a lot of money picking a wheel when you haven't figured out if it's the right wheel for you. So, start lower. Some people still use a G25 from Logitech. It's 20 odd years old, but it does the job. Get yourself started, get yourself something you can work with and build up from there. Okay, so you've got your PC, you've now got a wheel. You're now starting to enjoy it, you're developing yourself as a racing driver. It's been a few months, and I say that because this is the time you need to develop as a driver to find what you like. Now, you've picked a car that you like to race, to rally, to drift, and you're wanting to upgrade the sensory information that you're getting back from the content. So what would be the best upgrade for you? Well, in my experience and my opinion, I would say triple screens or VR. And why? Well, the information delivered by the eyes is just as important as by the hands, but a little bit less important than the ears. Of course, if you've got a PC, this means you've got decent audio already and you don't need to worry about upgrading that. You've got yourself a wheel that you've got to grips with, you like it quite a lot, and you've picked a wheel that suits your driving style. So now it's all important to sort out the sides. Because when you are racing, you are looking where you are going, and quite often that's through a corner. It's looking at hazards coming up if you're rallying. If you're drifting, you spend most of your time looking out the side anyway. Looking out the front of the car constantly is going to slow you down, cause more incidents, and hamper your experience, quite honestly. So get yourself a surround screen setup, whether it's an ultra-wide single monitor, 3 screens, VR, it all does the same job. Just get it, improve, learn how you race with those before you start thinking about going even further. So that's 3 things that you need to go sim racing, and quite honestly, you don't need any more. But what if you do? Well, where I would go from there, if you are into older cars, if you're into drifting, if you're into rallying, get yourself a shifter. There's a lot of these about on the market now, ranging from £50 up to £500. You don't really need to spend a lot of money on a shifter. It's just basically to change gears rather than using the flappy paddles on cars that really don't have flappy paddles. So if you get yourself a shifter and you start to like it, then you can think about what it's missing, what it lacks, and then think about the upgrade you want to do. But for me, I use a cheap Logitech shifter and it does the job just fine. I stiffened it with a spring. Again, it's something personal to you that you can customize, you can modify, and you can grow with it over time. And then what? So you've got a wheel, you've got 3 screens or VR or a surround screen, you've got a decent PC by now because you've been racing about a year, well, next I'd say get a handbrake, especially if you're drifting or if you're doing rally, or even if you're doing front wheel Clios. I mean, we all pull the handbrake to get around the corner sometimes. It is a valuable tool, especially when you're trying to do launches, and it adds a lot to the immersion. So get yourself a decent handbrake, and I would say decent for 2 reasons. When you yank it, it's a lot of force, and the cheaper ones in my experience tend to be plasticky, brittle, flex quite a lot and give poor feedback. So get yourself something made out of metal, and then you've got yourself quite a decent rig. And where would you go from there? Well, to be honest, there's no real need to go further. You can start looking at pedal sets, looking at high-end wheels, direct drive. But in all honesty, your setup's complete. The rest of the experience comes from you. Do you need motion? Not really. Motion can be done badly, it can be done great, it can be a mix of in between, but it's not really going to improve your driving. It's going to give you a lot more fun and a lot more immersion, no doubt, but it's not going to improve you as a sim racer. So to get started, really, as I said at the beginning of the video, you just need a PC. Well, I hope you liked the video. Don't forget I stream every single Saturday, 7 until 9 UK time. So if you want to come say hi, join me in the chat. We'll see you on the link down below.